So the question is this a good painting? Can I answer that? I can say that there are portions that are good, and we need to define good, but for the moment, let's go with what Tolstoy suggested, that it can be infectious, not good, not bad, good aesthetics, I guess, would be something like a disease or a virus, or something maybe symbiotic, rather, something that we can. I'm not certain, but I can say that I think there are some good infectious areas here, and that's been the problem with these older ones. And this is an older one. It's not autonomous, because it's not homogeneous. It doesn't know what it is. In one way, it is successful as a declaration of its notness. We can see some of these areas, and when you zoom in, you say, "Oh gosh, might that be a good painting?" Do take note that this is fascinating as a moire sort of pattern. We're looking at a screen, so we're looking through paint as a screen sitting on top, but showing us what's behind. I take a lot of, it's quite fascinating every time. And I'll show you another one here in a moment where that's more present. So you see cardboard through there, excised in this ladder shape there. It's not paint. That's the paint removed. Okay, so let's set this up to view. Alright. So there is that sort of moire pattern. I'm just going to flip this. There, that's better. So here's the threshold of viewing this screen that's interrupted. And we see it as a whole. And as we go closer, it falls apart. The thing on top becomes the subject. Of course, it's not happening too well with this viewfinder, but and then that's where the presence of, well, I guess being present comes in, because when you approach it as as I am right now, it's not really taking place with the viewfinder. Now, one thing I've been doing is, well, breaking the rules, using paint out of the tube. Something the guy I used to work with, Robert Green, would, well, he'd at least have something to say about it. You know, be aware. And that sort of thing. But I like the presence of the thing that's at the very, very back. I think that's why Jenny Savile's work is successful. Jenny Savile, to us Americans. I'm not really convinced by this shape here. I'm okay to make quotations, and obviously this is a kind of a quotation, but maybe it's too specific. You know, can we look at this and not think of Keith Haring? And is it something that I really want? And, well, I'm not certain. But it does have a nice certain quality. Also, that I'm talking about this black shape, it's a bit maybe forced or controlled, whilst being the sign of something that it isn't, but also being the sign of something that is controlled, because it's an outline of a grid essentially, isn't it? But it's kind of like an amoeba or something as well. I've not made a decision on that. But I do think that this is a pretty successful painting, even though it's the simplest thing, and maybe it's quite bullshit. Let's put it over here instead. So that's every brush in my, it's all of these brushes, every single one, Franken Mark Maker. And one of the things that I do is I like the idea of something flawed. And then one of the things I do is I let these expensive brushes slowly decay over time, sitting in the water, letting the glue that holds the bristles in break down. And so what begins as a very pure sort of mark making device becomes frayed and incapable of performing the function for which it was created, which to me it's related to dissonance and the discontent that I think is one of the things that we can bring to our society as artists. We can be Diogenes, who mocks us all and plays the fool. He's the conscientious objector, plays the devil's advocate. Yeah. In any case, so I have all these brushes that just sit here. After I use them, they've got paint on them, and so that paint gathers down at the bottom and gets all congealed. All these different paintings that I've made are all here present. So with just kind of making this nasty, disgusting soup, you don't want to smell this thing either. And then it makes this effortless sort of brush mark. And of course, when you talk about Liechtenstein, and obviously, you know, that's something I'm looking at here. But one of the things that I've been attempting to do is measure these things that we do, graph it essentially, and so that's why I've been surrounding things. You know, I'll make marks and then I'll outline it. It's the simplest, most kind of elementary sort of approach to mark making. Isn't that what a child does? And so these, I think, well, I don't know how far can I go, and do I care to? Loschenberg already made paintings made of cardboard. Why would I need to make any more? I don't know. But they do have a quality if we're sensitive, willing, and aware. If we're capable of accepting these things as aesthetic objects. And